Hey, what's up guys? Mike with Step-by-Step Programming here, and I'm going to show you how to use Realm in your iOS app. So without further ado, let's go over the steps. Step 1 is to add the RealmSwift CocoaPod to your project, and step 2 is to initialize a do-catch block in your AppDelegate, also to import the Realm onto any class you're going to be using. Step 3 is to create classes for the data that you're going to use. That's how Realm works, how they add things to their database. And then step 4 through 7 is of course, the CRUD operators, the create, read, update, and delete for all of your data. So let's get started with step 1. Okay, so in order to add Realm CocoaPods to our app, we're going to go minimize this, and if you can see, I've already created a Hello World Realm Xcode project that we're going to be using. Choose not to import core data. Don't check any of the boxes when you log in and create the Xcode project. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to check out the CocoaPod for Realm, and it is called RealmSwift, and yeah, here it is. Just, I like to look at the pods that I'm using before I implement them, actually to make sure that I'm getting the spelling and capitalization right when I add them to CocoaPod. So let's see. Yeah, so, okay. Capital R, capital S. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is open up our terminal. And you can see I've got this folder here on my desktop. So we're going to go to CD desktop. And CD hello, gotta capitalize, Hello World Realm. And then we're going to do pod init. And if you're not familiar with the process, it's creating a pod file in your project folder. And you want to open this pod file with your preferred text editor. I just use Atom because it's an option right there. Like, for some reason Xcode isn't an option right there, and it really frustrates me. Or I would use that one. But yeah, it's a little quicker just to get it open for brevity's sake. And so we're going to add the pod. And if you're not familiar with this process, all you do here is just type pod and then RealmSwift. And we want to uncomment this. Working for every platform for iOS 9.0 and up is what that means. So we're going to take that, we're going to save it, and going to close out of Atom. Thank you, Atom. And next up, make sure the project is closed in Xcode. Just like to do it, probably don't need to, but just in case. Now we're still in the proper file, so in the proper folder. So we're going to pod install. And so just give it a second. Okay, so it's done, and I'm going to close the terminal down, and we're going to open up this XC workspace. Make sure you open up the workspace and not the Xcode project. The workspace has the pods installed on it. From now on, open up the workspace every time you install a pod. Now, let's see, we've got a nice, see, we have the Hello World Realm, and then we have the pods. And you can add as many pods to the project as you want, just below the line that we put RealmSwift on in Atom. And it adds a lot of functionality. There's a lot of different pods that can do a lot of good things for your app. So and also make life a lot easier, which is kind of what Realm does. That's kind of its pitch versus core data, but I'll go over that at some point. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the AppDelegate, and here we're going to import RealmSwift. And let's see, is it going to work? Nope. Okay, so the issue here is that the app is not built with the pod already installed, so we have to build it, and eventually Xcode will come around. Okay, so now, oh great, yeah, I was a genius here, and did check the box for core data. So do not check it on the main screen when you create the project, or else you'll have to deal with this jazz. Now, we're going to go into the did finish launching with options, and we're going to put in a do catch block. If you're not familiar with the do catch block, it basically works with objects that can also throw errors if there's a problem. It's kind of a conditional statement of sorts, and it's very useful in not crashing your app when something doesn't go your way, and providing you with a proper error if it does crash your app. Now, let's get started. Do, and then catch. And in here we're going to create an instance of Realm. We're going to try Realm. No, I want the capital one. Yep. There we go. And then, so catch is basically for if what you tried in the do doesn't work. It's pretty similar to an if-else statement. And so for the catch, we want to print error launching Realm in AppDelegate, and then we're going to have it display the error for us all nice and tidy. And there we go. We are done with step 2 of the process. Now, let's move on. Now here in step 3, we're going to create an instance. So, yeah, basically just a class of whatever object that we want to put here on the view controller. So just for simplicity's sake, and just to show you how to get this done, we're going to just add a label to the main controller, and there we go. And let's horizontally and vertically center it in the container. I mean, there's no need to do this. It's just, I like having everything orderly. And then for the label, we're going to just call it Hello World. And then we're going to create a UI button. And this button will be used to add text to RealmDB database. And actually, you know what? Just so we can have some fun with it, let's make it a text field. So you can take whatever you put in the text field and add that to your Realm database. Doesn't that sound fun, guys? Now, our next step is to create a class for whatever we'd like to put into the database. And to do that, we go to New File. And we just want a simple Swift file, no need for the CocoaTouch class. We could also use a CocoaTouch class if that's what you want to do, but it takes up more memory, and there's no need for all the features that come with the touch class. So we're going to import the foundation that's already there, and then we're going to import RealmSwift. And remember, you always have to import that. We're going to have to import it on our view controller as well. So just remember, if something's not working, check that first. If it's acting like it doesn't know what you're talking about, it's likely that you haven't imported it on your page. Now, I'm going to go to class example, and we're going to call this something new. It's an object. Now, an object in Realm is sort of like a class, or just basically an instance in Realm. And we're going to use an Objective-C dynamic variable. Now, there is a lot more documentation on using dynamic variables. Basically what it is a variable that updates in real time, and we're going to make that a string, and it's going to be filled with nothing as a default. So now the real fun begins. We're going to go in to our view controller and import RealmSwift, of course. And in the beginning of the view controller, we're going to make an instance of Realm. So say let Realm equals try Realm. And so we can leave it like this for right now, because anytime that we're going to, no, not too wrong, throw an error, anytime we're going to throw an error, then it's going to be thrown in AppDelegate, and it's going to give us a lowdown of what's going on over there. So we can force unwrap it here. We can kind of afford it on this side. Now, on to step 1 of the CRUD process, which is creating data. Now, you'll hear CRUD all over, job applications and things like that. And all it is just create, read, update, and delete. That's basically just what a database needs to do in order to function. And if you're going to have any understanding of a database, any kind, whether it's SQLite, Core Data, Realm, then they all have these functions, and once you get those down, you pretty much understand a lot of it. I mean, there's sorting things to add in, but of course that's more advanced level stuff than we're doing right now. Now for this, you will need the Realm browser, and that is in the Mac store, the Mac App Store, and we're just going to open that up. Let's see, Realm browser, there it is. And see, it's created by Realm. Not doing so hot in the rating game, but what can you say? It does have its issues. I can't blame the reviewers. They are not just grumpy Gusses. It does have its problems. It crashes and doesn't understand when it's started up. It just has a couple issues, but you know what? Realm is a very useful tool, and I guess we're thankful for it, even if it works at all. So, which it does. It works very well. And so we're going to already have it downloaded. Going to open it, and you see where it says Open Realm File, Open Realm URL. We're going to go there later, just making sure it works. Okay, so now we're going to link this text field to the view controller, as well as the button. And in order to do this, we go over here, press Control, drag it over here, and we're going to call this text field. Really creative, I know. And so now we have this outlet. And then we're going to create a function for this. and it's going to be add button pressed. And touch up inside, yeah, sure, let's call it a UI button. There we go. And so this is triggered when we press this button. So now we don't need to look at these two screens anymore. Go pull up our view controller, and the first thing that we're going to do is the create. So now we have this text, and we're going to create. Let's see. Example. So we basically create an instance for the example class that we're using up here, and so you'll see I said new name, and that's because this dynamic variable is name. Just, I guess you can put your name in. It doesn't really matter what you put in there, but that's what I'm going to do, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. For this instance, we're going to go new name dot name, and we're going to make it equal to text field dot text. So whatever you put in that text field is, when you hit the submit button, will be sent to your Realm database. And in order to actually do that, we're going to have to use another do catch clause. So let's get started. Do catch, no capitals, and for the catch, yeah, let's go ahead and get that. Print error saving name, and get the error message going. And for the do, we're going to try realm.write. And realm write, you'll see, opens up another batch of code here, and in there is what we want to happen when we write to Realm. So we're going to go realm.add, and it's going to give us an object, and we want to use new name. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to run our app, and I've already ran mine just because sometimes it takes a while to get going and I don't want to keep you all waiting. So we're going to type in Michael, which is my name, hello, and we're going to add the text to the Realm database. So I guess it's added, so now what, great. So what do we do with this? Okay, remember that Realm browser? Here we go. When we open up the AppDelegate, we need to, in the did finish launching, going to print realm.configuration.default configuration .file URL. Don't get discouraged by how long and annoying this is. It's just it's a pretty simple process. I'll show you what we're doing. And now I'm going to hit play. And from here, now you can see has optional file. This is the URL that we wanted printed out. And we're going to highlight this. And then we're going to copy it, go into Finder, I'm actually going to go up to the little Go button up here, and we're going to go to Folder, and we're going to paste and go. Now you can see we have our Realm. And now we have to allow it. Sometimes you got to put in a password. And then here we go, name string Michael. Now let's have some more fun. Let's put in your name. Yeah, you see what I did there? And there it is, your name. It's in the database. Great job. Give yourself a pat on the back if you got that. And actually, I closed that out. That was dumb. I'm going to minimize that because we're going to go right back to it. And anytime you need to go back to it, just remember, take the URL given and go up to the Finder and go to the file. And Realm Browser will open it. So what we're going to do next is add a little table view to our app so that we can see the data that we're using. And we're going to move this up here. Make it nice and symmetrical. And add the text there. Now we're going to do a table view. And we're going to snap it to the walls. There we go. Oh yeah, now that I did that, I need to add constraints for this one. So let's start at the top. I like to start up there. And just, yeah. Gonna add those, why not? Actually, let's just center it in the container. That would give us less problems. Now we're good, and we're going to add a prototype cell so that we, what's a table view without cells? And then we add all the good nitty-gritty of the table view, which is UI table view delegate, UI table view data source. If we give it a second here, does not conform. Do I want to add protocol stubs? Yes, thank you for making it so easy. And we're going to put those down here. Now we need a number of rows in section. So we can actually go into our database here and pull out names as a results file. So go ahead and do this. So var names as a, it would actually be results. And then we're going to use sample. And this is an optional. And now we're going to go into here. And we're going to start reading some stuff. So create us a fun little function called load items. And in this load items, we're going to take our names and then going to equal realm.objects, and the object is an example, and self. And then we're going to have to view dot reload data. Now we're trying to reload our data when we don't have anything going on up here. And so now what we need to do is go up here and we're going to return names.counts. And see, that's an optional. It just adds that in there for us. And we're going to use these 2 question marks, which is defined as a nil coalescing operator. And so basically what it is it says, so if on the left side, if the object is nil, then it's going to read whatever we put on the right side of these question marks. So for this example, we're going to just have one column, or one row, I mean, in the table view, if this names.count is nil. If the names.count is, if we have 5 names in there, for example, then we'll have 5 rows. Now there's something else that we need to do, and if you're an experienced player, you've probably caught on to this by now. We need to go to the main storyboard and take this table view and control drag from the table view to the top little yellow thing up there. We're going to say data source, and we're going to take this up here again, and we're going to go delegate. So that makes this view controller the data source and the delegate for this table view. And it's something you have to explicitly do every time. Now, when we go to the self-heroic index path, we're going to let cell equal table view.dq reusable cell with identifier, which we haven't set yet. That identifier can be name cell for index path. So we're going to go in here and we're going to set the reuse identifier as name cell. Another one of those things, you got to get the capitalization right on this one. No need for camel case on these items because they're only going to be referred to in quotes on here. So I'm going to take the label for that, cell text label dot text, and make it equal to our names. Another optional, and we're going to do index path dot row dot name, and we're going to use another one of those nil coalescing operators here, so that if the left side reads nil, we're going to have it as no names added yet. There we go. By the way, in order to have this table view.reload data, we need to go into the main storyboard to do this, and we need to create an instance, just like we did with the label and the button. We need to go in here and we need to get it to display the right thing first. But yeah, once we get in here, we're going to control drag over next to your little IB outlet buddy. We're going to call it table view. So creative. And there it goes. And so then this should just compile. That would be perfect. And we need to go in here and return cell in our self-heroic index path. It has to have an output in order to work. Now, so we run the app as I just did, and I'm going to add Michael and add text to Realm database. And nothing happens. Well, why is that? Because in the beginning over here, in the view did load, we're not calling load items. And when we go here, we're not reloading the table view. Now, see what we got here. There we go. So now we see everything that we've added so far, and then we put step by step, and we're going to add it to the Realm database, and there it is. So now we have the ability to create and read our data. Next up, we're going to update our data using the did select row feature in table view. Okay, so up here I did UI table view. Yeah, I put tab bar delegate. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. So next up is we're going to did select row at index path. And for this, we're going to create a UI alert that allows you to change it. So now we're going to, once that's selected, got to use another do and catch block. It's going to be try realm.write and realm. See, let me pull up the documentation real quick just to see. All the documentation can be found on realm.io/docs. And really informative. They have some really good stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff over here. Objective-C, Swift, whatever you like to use. It's really, really versatile. Good program. Now, we go and we're going to update the. Let's see now. Go to our little name field that we created. So first we need to create a UI alert controller, and that's what we're going to do. Alert equal UI alert controller. It's going to have a title of update string. No need for a message, and our preferred style is an alert. Now we go to let action, which is the alert action, simply UI alert action. To be update name. Our style is just the default style, and our handler is going to be action. And now we put this do catch block in. Oh, this do catch block in. There we go. So now we have it in there, and you know what? I want to make these yellow things go away, so let's just go ahead and put the present alert animated true completion nil. Then we also need to add a alert.add text field. And for our configuration handler, we're going to use alert text field. And our alert text field dot placeholder, which is the little, light gray or whatever, says update name. And let's also create another constant here that is let text field. Actually, that could create some issues. Let update text field equal UI text field, so we don't throw any errors and freeze up our app. I'm going to say update text field equals alert text field. And then in the action here, we're going to say example.name, not class name. But we also have to pull this one out too, so we're going to say that let example equal example, and then example.name equal text field dot text. Okay, and we're just throwing errors all over the place, so we're going to turn that into a variable because of this error, which I get you. Yeah, laugh yourself away. Xcode, yeah, I know. I do self because it's an closure, and we're going to force unwrap that. Okay, so now we have all this self, and then we're going to print error saving updated data, and error, and right here we need to make this the update text field. Which is why it wanted me to call it self. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to add the action. Alert.add action. And the action is, of course, the one signified right here. Right there. And we're going to present table view. Or not our table view, our new object. So, in order to do that, table view.reload data. Now let's see what we get here. No. Click it. Say Rafiki. I saw the Lion King trailer recently. And nothing happens. So why is that, you ask? We actually haven't targeted our cell over here. So if I go down to that name equals names index path dot row. Now we can do it. And we're going to go in here, and it's going to be name. No, actually, we can just leave this like it is. instead of that. Do that. So now, let's see what we got now. Gonna be yo. And so if we look in here, we've added it into our Realm browser, but it's still not showing up here. So actually what we needed to do was take load items from down here and put self in front of it and put it in the do catch block, just to get everything running smoothly. And so here we have it. You click on step by step and say programming, update name. There it is. So now we've completed create, read, and update. Now it's time for delete. So for the delete section, we're just going to change the did select row so that when you select things, it deletes them. So what we're going to do is comment all of this stuff out. You know, don't delete it, just so you have it to refer to. And then we're going to go if let name names. Oh, index path dot row. I'm gonna do catch catch and print error deleting items error. And then for our do catch, we're going to put in try realm.write, and then in here we're going to say realm.delete, and it's going to be name. And then we're going to load items, again referring down here to our load items. So now let's see how we did. So I'm going to click on that. There it goes. And in the Realm browser here, they don't seem to be showing up either. So there we go. So now we have learned how to add and read, which we're doing now, update, and delete. And so now, ready to go with Realm. If you like this tutorial, please click subscribe down there and show me some love. I'm just a guy out here looking for a full-time job. So if anywhere's hiring, I live in Los Angeles and do remote work, and would love to hear from anybody. Also, you can check out my my GitHub, which the link will be in the description or right here on the screen, for you guys to follow and check out some of my work. I have a copy of this on my GitHub, so you can check it out and compare your answers. All right, thanks guys.